thought he was gone. But what he left behind could destroy everything. No. This can't be real. When my toxic boss was finally transitioned, I really thought things would get better. I had no idea what he left behind, or how quickly it would spread.
At first, it felt like a normal morning, until I realized they weren't just looking at me. Was this really happening, or was I just imagining it? But the silence, the stares, the whispers.
She's the reason why. Someone's about to deal with her. She's next.
The whispers didn't stop, not even after he was gone. And with every step, it felt like someone else was wearing his voice. They weren't even talking.
Pounding so loud, I was sure they could hear it on the other side of the door.
Michelle, thank you for coming. Please have a seat.
We know the last few months have been difficult, and with your former
supervisor gone, a lot will change around here.
Change? For the
We
better?
hope so. But transitions leave gaps. Gaps in management, gaps in communication.
Gone. I thought... But what he left behind could destroy everything. No. This can't be real.
I thought maybe it was good news. A fresh start. But instead, it was everything he ever wrote about me. He wasn't just trying to destroy my career. He was building a case.
I thought the envelope HR gave me was going to be something good. A reset. A clean slate. But when I opened it, I realized my former supervisor had been building a case against me for months. And not just that, he was tarnishing my reputation across the entire network. Fake emails. Misreported absences. Complaints I never even knew existed. There was an email saying I blew up during a meeting. That meeting never happened. There was a time card marked as absent. On a day I opened the building, there were messages supposedly written by me in a tone I have never used. He wasn't just trying to get rid of me. He wanted everyone to believe I was the problem. He wanted his lies to outlive him. And somehow, they did. When I walked into the office the next morning, I felt it immediately. The whispers. The stares that stopped the second I looked their way. People shifting uncomfortably as I walked past their desks. I heard someone whisper. "Is that her?" Another voice said. "HR emailed me about her last month." Someone else muttered. "I thought she got suspended." Every step felt heavier. Every breath felt tighter. All because of reports I never even saw. All because someone in power decided to rewrite my reality. When I sat at my desk, I saw emails I never received. Notifications marked urgent follow-up. Messages sent to me that he either blocked or deleted. He didn't just isolate me. He erased me. HR tried to reassure me. They said, with your former supervisor gone, a lot will change. And I wanted to believe them. I really did. But then they handed me the stack of reports and said, "Read everything before you clock out. We'll talk tomorrow." That's when I realized something. He was gone. But his fingerprints were still on everything. At lunch I sat alone. People who used to talk to me now whispered about me. "She's the one he wrote all those notes about." Maybe that's why HR called her first. He wasn't even in the building anymore. Yet he was still controlling the room. And then, the new supervisor arrived. Ms. Carter. Professional. Calm. The kind of leader I'd prayed for. But when she said she'd be reviewing all past performance reports, my stomach dropped. His lies weren't buried. They were about to be used again. Later, she pulled me aside for a private conversation. She said, "I read some of your past write-ups, but they don't match what I've seen from you this week." I felt something I hadn't felt in months, relief. She told me, "Your slate is clean with me. But the department still sees the old narrative." And that's when it hit me. A new boss can't erase the damage an old one leaves behind. I told her, quietly, "I just want to be treated fairly." She nodded and said, "And you will be." I wanted to believe her too. But when I returned to my desk, there was a new printed note waiting for me. "Mandatory meeting, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Topic: Performance Review Findings. My heart just sank. People around me watched without watching. Pretending not to stare. Pretending not to know. He may have been transitioned out. But the storm he created was still here. Still affecting every part of my work. Every part of my image. Every part of my confidence. He wasn't just a toxic boss. He was a ghost, haunting my career even after he left. And tomorrow, I find out if I survive the damage he left behind. The morning of the mandatory meeting, I felt sick before I even stepped into the building. Something in me already knew this wasn't going to be the fresh start everyone promised. But I went anyway, because what choice did I have? I sat down at the table, and the moment they handed me my performance review, my heart just stopped. Every category was negative. Attendance, teamwork, communication, professionalism, all the things I used to take pride in. All the things I worked the hardest to maintain. Seeing them written out like that. It felt like reading a stranger's report. Or worse, the version of me he created. And the worst part? No one had ever told me any of this. Not once. Not one conversation. Not one warning. Nothing. I kept flipping through the pages, and every line felt like a punch. Comments about me being uncooperative. Accusations about emotional outbursts that never happened. Meetings they claimed I missed. Some of which didn't even exist. It didn't make sense. None of it made sense. But then, it clicked. He'd been documenting me in secret. Crafting a narrative behind closed doors. Building a version of me that he could control. A version he could blame. A version he could destroy. And now he was gone, but his paperwork wasn't. His lies weren't. His version of me was still sitting in front of the people who mattered. As I kept reading, I realized something even worse. If this was all they had, then this was what they believed. They didn't know me. They didn't know my work ethic. They didn't see the extra hours, the double-checking, the effort I put in just to stay afloat under him. All they saw were the write-ups he left behind like landmines. And as much as I wanted to speak, to defend myself, to explain every lie and every manipulation, I couldn't. Because how do you explain a story someone already wrote for you? How do you prove you're not the person they've already decided you are?
I never expected today to break me like this, but it taught me something I didn't want to see. He didn't just try to ruin my job, he tried to rewrite who I am. But I'm done running.
I've spent months surviving in silence, letting his version of me define the way they saw me. But I'm done running. If tomorrow's going to be different, it starts with me.